Right.
Hi guys, so this is conversation I had with my caseworkers. I want to keep you guys posted, let you know that hey, I'm working on this case. I'm doing my best to. I'm always out there working on finding the right place for me to live. However, I do want you guys to know and understand that not every client is. I don't want you guys to expect every single mental patient or client that you guys have in terms of vouchers and Section 8 vouchers, brilliant corners, to be able to do the things that I'm able to do or behave the way that just don't expect it from every single person. Everybody is different, and I think we have a long life to live. If you feel like you have a long life to live, we have a long life to live. Therefore, I feel like I have a long life to live because after facing death, looks like death couldn't receive me. And so I thank God that it didn't, and I thank God that I'm here and I'm a living testimony, and so are you guys. So here is more of
Yeah.
and coordinate a lease signing. So I let Deja know that's the next steps.
Okay.
I'll respond back to the email again today to see where she's at on that. I haven't checked in because I think that was last Thursday when we got that done, right?
Yeah, that was last Thursday when the last time we talked.
Yeah, and I let her know that the urgency of getting this done. So I know Isaac followed up yesterday and asked me as well to if there's anything he can help support, and let him know the steps as well. So I haven't followed up with them because I've been working on other stuff as well. But I'll go ahead and follow up today as well. And if you get in contact with her, you have the same information.
Definitely.
She just needs to submit the UID packet, which is just like a brief packet where they give us the information of the brand amount, their W-9, all the documents we need to set up their a profile for them.
Okay, sounds great. And so, I just talked to Isaac. I called him. He said they just should be doing that today and turning it in today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're good for now. So hopefully we get that done ASAP, and then I'll keep you updated.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maxine. You have a wonderful...
Yeah, no worries. I know it's a time already where you're going to be... the 9th is coming up. Yeah. So I know it's a little bit frustrating and seeing where we're at. But hopefully we could do a lease signing before that. So fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed. Thank you so much. You're awesome.
Okay. No worries, Sandra. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
I love their energy. I love that they're supporting me more now, that they're being on top of it. I feel like they're more like, oh my God, this is getting serious. This is serious. And I'm taking it as serious as well. It's not, I don't want my caseworkers to think that I'm not taking this serious, that I'm not taking my living situation serious. I really am. And I just want people to know that, when people struggle with their mental health, they do fail at some point. And some apartment complexes don't want to deal with that. They're like, we don't have time, or we don't. Even if they don't have time, they don't have the heart for it. I mean, even if they do have the time, they don't have the heart for it. So they're just like, I'm not interested in trying to fix somebody else's life. Just pay your rent. And that's that. The sad thing is that other complexes are actually acting like they're accepting vouchers when they're not. So...
and it's like nobody's trying to force you to help, but don't say you're helping if you actually are not. Don't trick us. Just be honest.
Just keep that in mind, and that's what's keeping people from getting the proper housing.
That's what this place is doing. Camden is pretending like they're helping with housing or whatever when they're really not.
And it's not helping the caseworkers at all, because our poor caseworkers...
The only place is actually doing their best, and the thing is, they don't make it easy, but the place is doing their best to get the job done is, to me, so far, is Radius.
Are just trying to get people housed as much as possible, but when these...
And El Central.
Apartment complexes are not lenient, or they're not there for you, or they're doing these tricks, it makes the apartment it makes the caseworkers just not really get on top of it, because the caseworkers already have so much to do and so many other cases to work on, to the point where it's just like, okay, this is a lot. Like, and it's not like they can just explain it to anybody, because they don't want them to be like, well, is the job too much for you? Is it that you can't do it? It's not that they can't do it. It's just that they do need some help and assistance. And it's not even that. It's just that help and assistance needs to come from the apartment complexes that are saying that they're doing this and they're not doing it. It's like, if you say you're...
And that's by like not charging moving deposit, $500 moving deposit, $500. You know what I mean? I do understand why they pay it, and their job is to explain to the voucher holders, try to explain to them and say, hey guys, that $500 deposit, it turns into the security deposit. It's not they don't keep it. They actually put it into the security deposit. So we got to talk to them into helping pay for that holding deposit. But the thing is that they have to request those funds. They don't have those funds on them. They should. That would be a great idea, because the thing is, Tremaine had funds on him. They gave him a card where there was actual money on it, right? The question was, how much money did they give him? Right? And so a lot of these holding deposits are getting more and more expensive. If you guys really want to help, you got to make it cheaper for people with vouchers. They're already paying rent. It's not like they're asking to move in for free. The rent is being paid. It's just be a little bit more cheaper, because they can't afford it. And just keep in mind that these companies already have so many apartments they have to pay for. Please.
Doing it, you're gonna do it. Don't half-ass it. Do it. Like, it's a team effort, right? And it's like if you see someone that is able to even look for the other apartment
and keep in mind, for people that might think, oh, well, she's just sitting and saying, I'm telling you guys, unlike a lot of other people that suffer with their mental health, I'm actually bringing you guys the tea. I'm helping you guys understand, have information. Without information, you can't fight for what's right. You can't do right. Do it. Most people with disabilities don't care much, because it's not that they don't care. It's that they're busy fixing their life. They can't think about all this extra stuff. They're just hoping they have a place to stay, and that's it. And that's all they need to focus on, is recovering. Now, in terms of them helping, that's up to them. Again, it's the heart of the person. Whatever your heart is telling you to do, that's what you do. But for you guys that get that help, your feedback means a lot. Your support, I know that it seems like you talking might jeopardize your living situation, or et cetera, but trust me, God and the angels will always have a miracle. There is always a miracle waiting for you. As long as you open doors for somebody in your life, as long as you make miracles happen for other people, there is a miracle waiting to happen for you. Trust and believe that. Whenever you believe that, it will happen to you. Even if you are the creator of changing your mindset and thinking positive is going to help you create a better path for yourself. Know that there is a path that's already designed and created specifically just for you. Whenever you doubt, you make it hard for those things to happen. You make it harder for those things to happen, but those things were already destined to happen. And everything is timed the right way. If this universe and everything wasn't timed the right way, there would be even worse things happening.
Complexes are getting credit when they're not even the ones that filled out the application. The client has to fill out the application on their own. So I think the caseworkers definitely do need extra help. They need somebody that's going.
When I say the people that are filling out the applications, I'm not talking about Brilliant Corners or Good Seed. I'm talking about this other company that worked with Section 8 that asked me to fill out my application online. And then on the application, it says, on the Section 8, it says it's free. But when it comes to filling out the application, I called their number. They said, oh, we actually charge $30. So I'm like, why haven't you guys updated the system? And told us that so we can know for sure what's going on. Because you guys are trying to go behind the government's back and make and make money, but you're not giving us any results, right? So what are you getting paid for? People want to get paid to sit on their fucking ass. No. If I don't sit on my ass, you don't sit on your ass.
To feel like that. And I feel like it starts with getting the person, the client, an in-home care provider who is going to be there.
And that's specifically, because you don't have a disability. You didn't sign up to have as a person with a disability. So you just want to sit and collect. I actually have issues that I need to deal with. That's why I'm sitting on my ass. If I didn't have issues that I needed to deal with, I would be running around getting the job done. And I still am getting the job. I'm doing my best to get the job done. It's a lot to be a mother. It's a lot to be a wife. It's a lot to be a woman, a sister. But it's a lot. And an employee. But you got to cut off your social life, your best friends, all those things. You got to cut those things. People that are wasting your energy and time, you got to cut them off. If it's your husband, your wife, that's something that you have to be. That's your life. It's something you can cut off. But as far as friends, it's just pointless. If they're not putting any dime in your pocket, then why go meet with them? For therapy reasons, you guys can talk over the phone. Your focus should be working on surviving forever. The more time you spend with friends at local bars, friends at a local club, you're taking time away from you. This is why I don't hang with people. It's not that I don't want to hang with you. It's that I don't have time for it. If I would have known this when I was younger, I would have been far ahead by now. But no, instead I was chasing friends, chasing boys, chasing this, chasing that, instead of just getting on the internet.
All the time, or most of the time.
Never underestimate the power of the internet. Let's continue.
Depending on where their mental health is, in order for them to get assistance, in order for them to be able to fill out their paperwork. I was talking to one of the tenants that lives here. I don't see her anymore. I don't know if she's still alive. Hopefully she is. But she was like, yeah, filling out those those documents is really, really hard. And I agree. It's hard just to grab a pen and paper to even find those documents, because you have so much to think about.
And real quick, don't forget that they're always asking us for feedback. Honest feedback. That's the only way that they're going to help you, is if you give feedback. A lot of people are not doing the right thing because people are not giving feedback. So they're like, since nobody's paying attention, let's do what we want. No, we're paying attention. We just need to be reminded. They need to be reminded.
Back then, we were able to think about, before we started struggling with our mental health. There are people that have been struggling with their mental health all their lives. But back then, it was like you were able. I was able to feel. I never really was always that good at filling out, let's say, resumes, but I was still able to actually write and fill it out. I used to always it's just the thought of thinking about when you got hired, the last time you got fired, and especially if you haven't worked for a very long time, if you don't constantly fill out that information, if you haven't been doing it for a very long time, you automatically are going to feel like you're automatically going to feel like you have too much going on, right? And that's for people that never went to school, never went to college. I went to school. I just never graduated from high school. And that's, like I said, when people go through face abuse and things like that, it slows them down as a person. This is an actual truth. Scientifically, even if you guys haven't studied it, this is why hitting kids, putting your hands on someone is bad, because it can actually damage their parts of their brain. And I think it also goes with people that, and I'm going to discuss a lot of these things later, because more of these topics later, because I know for a fact that coming from a line of abuse, physical abuse in my household, I wanted to go to school, but my emotional it's almost like your body and your muscles definitely have a mind of their own. And when your body hasn't healed yet, it's not going to move on to a new task or it's something new, because it's literally still in recovery mode. And that's where I'm at. Like, I'm in recovery mode. Every moment I get hurt, it's almost like when something bad happens or I get neglected, it's almost like my body is being reminded of what happened before or whatever.
Past traumas. It's almost like awakening past traumas. Memory. Your body starts to dig into the memories of your past life, past experiences, and then you're like, damn, I'm going through too much. Today I have to have a good time. Today I have to reward myself. Today I have to play. Today I have to. That's where your mind goes. So I think when clients have an in-home care provider or somebody, that person reminds them, hey guys, hey, I know it sounds like a great idea to do this, but it's not, because remember, you have you have a place to, you have a beautiful place that you don't want to lose, and remember, the people that live here, these people are not mentally ill. They don't come from, they just know how to hide it. It depends on how you speak to them, how you trigger them. So it's definitely, whenever the client doesn't take their medication, there's other things that fall in place. They try to self-heal. That's what happened to me. When my medication wasn't on me and I didn't take my medication, I had no choice but to go grab some beers, because in that moment, the way my body was feeling without alcohol, it was like I would rather jump. And I'm not going to self-harm. And when I say that I'm about to commit suicide, it's not a game. That's why I scare myself. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to commit suicide. I have to convince we're not going to do this. That's why it's like, well, then go get some beer, go get this. So it's almost like your mind is telling you, the spirits are telling you, we're not dealing with this. You get what I mean? So you don't want to get to that point. It's very important. This is why having in-home care providers is very, very important. It's not a waste of time, because believe me, there are people that are investing in these companies that are like, are we getting any results? Is there a change happening? They need help. You can't put a patient in a hospital. Every moment is like you're dealing with a patient in the hospital. You can't put a patient in the hospital and didn't give them the necessary tools to survive and expect them to survive and say, how come they're not getting better? Because you didn't give them the tools to survive. You didn't help them survive. So you can't expect them to survive empty-handed, right? But you have everything that you need. You can't live without those things. So what makes you think that they can live without those things? So when you come up to me and tell me that these people are bad, these people gotta go, these people this, without actually trying to help them, without proving and showing us how you are helping them, you're just being a bully. The universe is not playing games, right? You got to do it right, or you're going to repeat it. That's what I'm telling you. Mother Earth, I don't play with the universe. I don't play games, because then I get punished. I don't want to get punished for what I didn't do. That's whatever I do, I'm doing my part. The rest is up to you. Because if the universe says, why didn't you do it? Because that person didn't help me. Because that person didn't hand me the tools. Because that person chose to be greedy. Because that person chose to lie about vouchers, about housing, but they didn't make it affordable for people with vouchers. They didn't even care to think. And then when we think about all the people that died for this country, when you think about the soldiers that died for this country, and you think you died for this country, but you didn't really die, because you never really went to war. You thought you went to war, but people were building these apartment buildings for you. You just moved in and took this position of an office assistant. Your tears and your fingerprints were not on those walls before they got sealed in. right? It wasn't you who built this apartment. It wasn't you who did the architecture. You just moved in and became the person that's moving everyone else in. So you don't understand what this apartment is built for. When I walk into Radius, I see this place as if it was made for me in terms of the way for someone like me. I'm not saying it was made specifically for me. This is for you, Sandra. No, but for someone like me, meaning if I see fingerprints, I mean, not fingerprints, a door that you don't have to use a key. It works for me, makes my life easier, because then I don't have, because this is how I would think too. If I see sockets everywhere, thinking about a person with a disability, and everyone has some form of disability, they just don't, it's just not as bad as other people, right? And I mean, because if you're not out here running super fast and having supernatural powers, then there's something about you that is not, you're not using your full potential as a human being. If God is able to make the world, you guys should be able to do the same things, but you're just not God. That's why you don't have that authority, but you can at least have a certain power. Not everyone has the authority to do certain things that God does, because they're not God, because they don't have the mind of God. They don't have the heart of God. You have to have the mind and the heart to obtain those kinds of powers and abilities. Hold on, guys. Let's continue.
So it tries to heal itself, whether it's doing it through dance, whether it's doing it through alcohol. Back in the days, it was alcohol. Now I just take Vivitrol. And but now that I take Vivitrol, I'm not drinking alcohol, which is not making me want to do like.
And like I said, the saddest thing is when the client is doing a good job, and when the client is working with you, but then you fail to do your part as a caseworker. And that goes for my caseworkers at Wesley Health Centers who failed to do their part. They didn't fail it all the way. They called, but they didn't do the whole job, right? And then when I asked them to do me this favor of the same thing that not Felicia, the other lady, where you press 1 and your Uber comes back, they were like, no, just give me a call. Then it's a Spanish guy. You know, if you're going to come from another country, I don't mean to bring race, but race helps me understand which group is behaving the worst, or which group, where this behavior is coming from the most. Because if I don't say race, then they're going to think it's the white race, it's the black race. Who is it? It's the Spanish community. And it's not all of them. Specific Spanish people like to bring their little home rules to work, and this is not how it works for them. No, it's how it works for the company. This is what I'm saying. The company needs to train these people. They need training so they can understand who's the boss. Bringing in your stuff is like, there's nothing wrong with bringing in your ideas, but if it doesn't work for the client, then you shouldn't bring it. If you think that that's they're taking advantage. No, the system knows. The system is not going. If Uber, if you press 1 for your, you get 2 rides to go and to come back. In order to get your second ride, you have to press 1, right? Maybe things happen different for other people. But whenever we call and say, hey, I'm ready to go back, sometimes they don't even answer the phone. And then the client is stranded. And imagine it's a client in a wheelchair. So that's why you have to keep it at that 1 in the palm of their hands, right? But then the Spanish guy that works there, he says, no, just call me. You know, I'll be here. And guess what? I called him. The piece of shit wasn't even there. And I call him a piece of shit because I hate when you don't listen. Why don't you fucking listen? It's better for me to curse it out than to get physical in person. I never get physical in person. Not anymore. When I was younger, I used to. But now I'm mature. I know better than to get physical with anybody.
Be out there, because that's what alcohol does. It does something to the brain where it tricks the body into thinking like, oh my God, you feel better, you're okay, you can get back out there, you can do this, you can do that. When you're really not physically prepared, you only feel that way because you're under the influence. But once you stop drinking the alcohol, you see that your physical is not ready to get out there. If you can't get out there off without alcohol, your physical is not ready. When I say your physical, it's like working on breaking down the tension in your body. When you work on breaking down the tension in your body, you're like you're breaking down the meat that you've been eating inside. This is more than just even physical abuse. It's also the process, the foods that you're eating, because when you're eating meat and things like that, that's the animal has been through abuse. The animal has been through pain, and it's not just an animal, it's an actual human. It's a spirit that you don't know if it came from a human or where that spirit came from, and it landed in a dog's body or it landed in a cow's body. And when you look at the cows, they all sit there being counted, being ready, and being told that life is good and things are going to be good, and their hair is being brushed, being prepared.
And one thing I want to let you guys know, if you don't think these animals' lives matter, why are you eating them? Why are you eating animals who you don't feel like their lives matter? It's like eating the enemy. You feel like they're useless, but you're putting them in your stomach. So you're putting the useless in your stomach, which makes you what? Just as useless. Because you're useless if you can't carry on for longer, and you can't even listen when we tell you we want you to do certain things. We want you to expand your brain. We want you to be better. We want you to, you know what I mean? Here are the tools to be better. The thing is that America has to change the law. Trump has to change the law. No eating meat. And that starts by him understanding why he shouldn't eat meat. You guys are going to die slowly. This is what the Bible, you have to. It's the only way you guys are going to change. It's the only way you guys are going to, because you want mercy, but you don't want to give mercy. You don't want to show mercy, but you're begging God for mercy. Mercy starts with what's on your dinner plate. Because the first people, you don't call them people, but they're just as human as you are those animals. You want mercy? Show mercy on those animals and show mercy on yourself. This is what they should be teaching in church. God is sick and tired of you guys preaching. This is why I don't go to church. They preach about God all day long and Jesus all day long, but they don't talk about changing people's diets. This is what God wants you guys to do. Jesus Christ was crucified, so Jesus Christ knows what it feels like to be a cow. He knows what it feels like to be an animal, to be eaten, even if he wasn't eaten, he was crucified. Animals get crucified every day. Innocent chicks, innocent animals, because you guys think that the torture of animals is what's making life better. It's not. It hasn't gotten better. It looks better. It's gotten better, but it could be even better if you ate better. It was better than before, but it could have been even better if everyone went vegan and stretched.
Prepared just to be executed is unbelievable, and this should be illegal in this country because it's making things worse. That's why when I go to these jobs, that your employees are not doing the best that they can perform better if they ate better. They can really do it, because if I can do it while I'm going through, like if I can look for an apartment and get a great apartment at that, right? If I can talk to these people and do a great job at talking to them and really,
because Radius is a beautiful place. The apartments they put in people in are not very beautiful. When I say things can get worse, when it comes to a mental patient, things can get worse. But when I was living here, that was not the worst that you've ever seen. Doesn't mean that it's supposed to happen. I'm just saying. If they build a dance studio, a little bit more space for people, because people are like, why don't you do it in your apartment? Apartment's not big enough. There is a couch. Sometimes there needs to be like El Centro has a dance studio. It has a gym, a wide enough gym. They probably just don't have that, just yet. They don't have the money to do that, right? So it's that's why it's like, well, why don't you build a strip club somewhere on the third floor? Do something. There's other ways of doing things, but they don't have a relationship with the tenants enough for the tenants to be like, hey, let's all contribute. We're already contributing our rent. That's one thing. That's the deal. But building a trusting relationship is the first thing when you come in an apartment complex. When I moved in here, my package went missing. Number one, I don't trust you. Because now if packages are getting missing, people are stealing stuff. And then the company is tricking people into actually doing this by not providing someone or putting someone out there to organize a storage room or do certain things, which is making it okay for other people to take certain things. It's never okay to do so, but they feel like it's causing a lot more confusion when there is packages that are supposed to be gone, not gone. They get angry when their package gets taken, so they take someone else's package because their package got taken. And that's not the tenant's fault. That's the company's fault for not doing their part in organizing the space, is what I'm saying.
Push it. They can do it. They can do it, but they need that extra.
But just because I'm saying that, it doesn't mean you should do it. Always just leave it alone. But make sure that whenever, when you're a queen and situations are presented to you, all you could do is think, why is it happening then? That's all you go to. Well, why are they taking it? Why is this? Then you get in that situation. You're like, now it makes sense why they're doing it. Because I have sympathy on people. People's behavior happens because of what someone failed to do or what someone did right. They're just reacting. They're just responding to your work. And when your work is poor, they're going to do poor stuff. Like, why should we have to keep watching you every second? You don't have to keep watching someone every second, but people are reacting based off of frustration and anger. It's not necessarily because no one's watching, but it's because they're angry and they're releasing their anger on that. You taking my shit, this is how we're going to do it. I bet you, you know what I mean? That's what the kind of argument is, and that's not what you want in a building. That's going to set you up. And when things happen to your company, don't look at God and say, why God? Look at yourself and say, why you? Why didn't you do what you were supposed to do? I'm here to help you grow, to help you see what you do not see. So you're either going to take that as a learning lesson or not. If you want to get angry, if you want to get jealous, if you want to get envious, it's because you're eating meat. You're eating disgusting food. Every day you put in that steak and it's making you angry, and your heart is going to blow up and explode because you're eating disgusting food. Disgusting food gives you a disgusting attitude because it's what you did to that animal. I'm telling you. Like somebody that said they're defending Radius, and then they're like, I give them great ideas, and they say that's the worst, stupidest idea I've ever heard. And I'm like, and you call yourself someone defending Radius? And you think that idea is a stupid idea? Where are your ideas? Yet you don't even have your full name. You don't even have your face on social media. And you calling my idea stupid? It's almost like telling Elon Musk he's doing a horrible job at building Tesla, when you have never even built a car. Let's see what you can do before you criticize someone else's work. And I know you guys are going to think that you're talking to me or I'm talking to myself. I'm not talking to myself. I'm talking to the person that is saying that you're doing a horrible job and not giving them the advice to be better. See, that's the difference between you and I. When I say they're not doing a good job, I'm saying they're not doing a good job at specific things. And I'm giving them ideas. And I'm putting myself out there. But all the people that are complaining in the comments and are attempting to build a social media account, all you did was attempt. You didn't actually build it. But when I'm on here building. And I thank God I don't have people are listening when I say don't comment bullshit on my comments, don't put BS on my comments, don't put BS on my comments. I don't care if you're helping my account grow. It doesn't grow if you're doing nothing but putting negativity on there without even any advice, any real advice. So what can we do different is what they say. Okay, you didn't like this? Okay, we understand it. I apologize. But what can I do different? Can you help us? And if you can't help, all you do is complain, then you're just as fucking useless.
Push that extra support. They need someone that's going to see what's going on with the homeless. That's also what's going on with the caseworkers, because also caseworkers need assistance, especially after listening to Deja. Deja was telling me, they put us out. She opened up to me as a human being, as a person. It's my responsibility. It's, as just so you guys know, clients are usually never supposed to. It's never the client's responsibility to understand. It's good to understand the caseworker, but it's not their responsibility to try to understand and be lenient in this.
And I say that because some clients are really going through a lot and they just need your support. That's it. And an in-home care provider is supposed to be provided for clients that are going through the worst situations. If the clients that can stand up for themselves are going through bad stuff, imagine the ones that can't stand up for themselves. This is not what business is about. In order for it to be called a good business, they need to be doing good work.
It's a nice gesture. We would like them to, but I'm saying what you guys need to know, that there are some caseworkers that will not be able. There's some clients that won't be able to be the way you want them to be. But don't forget that the government funds for you to be able to manage them, right? So helping them understand is important.
And then also don't forget that when I was out there on the streets, I was getting people. I showed no signs of fear. I put my stuff out there, and I was getting people. I just got smarter than them. Instead of arguing with the patients and with the clients on the street, the other homeless people, I called 911. If 911 couldn't show up, all I did was start praying. Do you think I started yelling at them? 99.9% I didn't. I went on stage and started yelling, pretending like I'm putting on a show when I'm really releasing my frustrations on the 3rd Street Promenade. You got to outsmart them, because some people will argue with you until you end up getting arrested or they end up getting arrested. And once you get that in your head, you're not going to argue with them. You can't argue with the fool, or else you fall into his folly. It says that in the Bible.
However, don't expect it from every client is basically what I'm trying to say. And so you just have to learn how to work around them without getting angry, and learn how to place them without putting them in a position where they're not going to be able to do to do everything the right way. If the caseworkers are not getting the person, the reason why my apartment is coming through and I'm getting as much, because I'm actually going out there every day looking for these apartments. I'm actually filling out the applications. I myself, I'm going to meet these landlords. I'm explaining to them my situation. Whoever I feel like will listen. If I don't feel like they're gonna listen, anyways, El Centro is a place that I feel like they listened, they were able to really hear me out, hear my story. But there is also other apartments that I didn't explain these things to. I put on a face card. I put on a mask where I'm like, I'm not going to tell you this because I see what kind of person you are, what kind of place this is. So it's almost finding a place that works well for you, that makes you feel comfortable, and you transition through that and you grow with those people. Because sometimes, when you come off the street, you're in transition, mentally transitioning. So you want to be perfect. You want to be like everyone else, but there is a fire. There is something happening to your body. You're in a healing process. There are some other people that you're connected to telepathically. Somehow you made an assignment. You made it a deal with, you and some people before you entered this. It gets deeper than just what we see today. It gets like people have to get deeper into psychology, and I know that seems like a lot, but your mind has to be open enough for you to understand what's really going on. Like, that's where I'm at. That's why I'm able to be a more understanding person, even if like half of the time I can't deal with everything and also be understanding and be a patient at the same time. But once I'm done being a patient, being a client, you know what I mean? Then I can finally like either fall into the field of casework, or fall into the field of therapy, being a therapist, or fall into the field of, being a doctor, whatever the case is, being a wife, whatever the case is that God is going to make me. I need to be able to understand. Everyone needs to be able to have, because we don't want you to have to walk in someone's shoes in order for you to understand them, right? So for your own sake, you need to be able, you don't have to. There is a lot of things like, if somebody kills someone, you don't have to kill someone to know how hard and how bad it is to live with that secret all your life, or to live with that. You don't have to do that. You just know just a little guilt that you feel
and that's if you're a good person. I guess not everyone has that good person in them where like, I can't or they shut it off. That sympathy. Like, you can't kill someone without sympathy unless it's out of self-defense, without feeling like guilty.
Human being, that little guilt alone will make you feel like, man, I don't want to be responsible for this. I don't want to be, responsible for someone's blood in my hands. Same thing how I feel about animals. I don't want it to be my fault that these animals are being executed. It's just really sad, and I feel like it's crazy.
Because it's not my fault. It's the person that's actually killing the animal and the people that are choosing to eat it. Because if you decide that you can't do this anymore, that's when they're going to be like, we're not going to give it to you anymore. It's your demand.
How people don't see it the way I see it.
It's also
I'm like,
them.
and they're probably from their perception.
But it's also them too. So you guys have to talk to each other.
And perspective or whatever, they're seeing it as, people are hungry. It's either the animal or them. No, we're able to change the meat industry. And that starts with Veggie Grill. Veggie Grill, making deals with Veggie Grill, making more vegan restaurants. And that's enforcing, it's not like everyone's going to follow the rules right away anyway, but at least starting to put it out there like, hey, in this country, we don't eat animals. In this country, just think about it. Eating animals, that's just really crazy. Eating the testicles and the legs, that's gross. This is why people are not thinking well. This is why, you get someone that's been homeless that can actually do your job better than you. I'm not trying to say that I'm doing my job better than other people, because you never know where they came from or what they've been through. But what I'm saying is that moment, if a person gets off the street and is able to manage how to deal with hard, tough situations, then when you get presented with a tough situation and you automatically lose your temper, it means that you've been losing your temper for a very long time. It means that you only have a little bit left before you know what I mean? Your mind explodes, and
that means it's time for you to go. Like, either fix it or you go, because you can't be employed and have a short temper.
Real business owners will fire people that don't have that capacity in their brain to continuously be patient. That's what business is all about. It's continuous patience. You have to fix your problems before coming to work, because when you come to work, your dedication is to the job and to the company, not to yourself. You automatically become not a slave. It's like a slave, but not a slave, but a worker. And you have to devote yourself to that company, and you have to learn that company. You're not thinking about your house. You're not thinking about, although your house problems might come to you, and you hope that your boss can listen and understand you. That's what I'm saying. Getting therapy, because we don't want clients. We don't want
employees to completely abandon their home and their work for the job. You're getting paid for that, but we also want to make sure that they're okay at home. If they're not okay at home, they're not going to be okay at work. If they can't talk to you at work, they're not going to be able to, they're not going to be able to open up. You're not going to be able to understand them, to be lenient with them. And it's not even that, but to also build programs where they can sit down and talk about their issues, sit down and stretch out their legs. If you're expecting them to always sit a certain way, they're going to be tense. If you have the AC high to super cold, and some people can't take the cold weather, the cold, you got to give them ideas. Hey, bring the coat, you know what I mean? Do something to help your employees so that they can feel cared for, so they don't feel abandoned or neglected. And that way, when it comes to meeting the tenants or the customers, they don't have an attitude with the customer that's bad for service, bad for business. And I do understand that people that are already situated in their businesses, they're not gonna feel. And a lot of you guys, I know that there's a lot of you guys that feel like when you're doing something for your boss, you're doing it expecting something in return. If you're getting a paycheck, that's enough. But don't expect your boss to promote you because you're doing a great. Don't expect it. Do it. They don't want you to do it in expectance of it, because they might not even have that offer on the table to begin with. You get what I mean? Do it for the love of it and see how long you can do it. If your boss starts promoting other people over you, then that becomes a little bit of a different thing. It's a personal thing, or it could be a family member, or there could be a reason why. Just if they're paying you enough, enjoy that, and then work on your own business if you don't feel like you're being treated fairly at a certain job. But don't take it personal as well. Don't expect it. I never expect a promotion. I just do my work. I take the job. I take the company by acting like I own the company. Acting like this company's mine. I know what this company needs. And then with the day this person dies, at least if anything happens and I end up being the only survivor, I know how to run it. You get what I mean? So wherever I go, I try to figure out different ideas, different ways to be like, hey, boom, I'm taking this with me. I know how this works. I know this. If someone falls short of the glory, if someone else fails to know the computer, if someone calls in sick, I can easily go behind that desk and take their position and do their part. So they're very situated in their business. They're already situated in their company or their businesses. They're not going to feel like they really need you. But listen, eventually those things will catch up to you. Eventually, because 99.9% all of you guys are not eating healthy at the company, at the business. You think you're eating healthy by eating meat and adding a little salad to the side. But the more you put that steak in your mouth, the more you jeopardize your real life. I'm telling you, that's why there's no human that survived. Not even vegans have survived. It's not that vegans are not eating healthy. That's why they haven't survived. It's because they're not taking every single step that needs to be taken in order for them to live properly. Meaning you got to be vegan. You got to get flexible. You don't have time to work a 9 to 5 because you have to focus on your flexibility. You have to be as flexible as a ballerina in order for you to live forever and eat greens and eat healthy. Let me tell you why. Because your muscles, the tension in your body is what's keeping you from moving on. Every time you have tension in your body, you have more stress to deal with. You have something pulling on your veins, on the tension, on the nerves in your body. You have a big old brick sitting on your, you know what I mean? And I do understand why some people have weight on them, because sometimes when you are a little bit too lightweight, you can easily be blown away by the wind. When I was really skinny and really light, the wind would blow me up and I almost flew off. So it's like, if you feel that way, all you need to do is put weights on your ankles. Put some weights on your ankles or something if you feel super light. But what you don't want to do is, you don't want to have too much weight on your body and be unable to fly or unable to be flexible. Your body thinks better when it doesn't have tension. Big old knot. You got knots on the side, knots in too many knots. And those are chunks of meat in your body, stranded, being turned into muscle when they shouldn't be. What's the point of massaging it if you're going to build it back up? Don't waste your time lifting weights. Spend more time stretching and getting flexible. so that you can be limber. If you can't fly, you're not going to be able to work under pressure. Pressure cannot be seen. Gravity, you don't see it, but it's there. It exists, right? And so when you don't, it's not what you see, it's what you don't see, is what God is saying. The Bible speaks specifically about what you do not see, right? All right, guys, we'll cover more on this stuff later. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. I hope you guys can be patient and lenient with me. And I'm telling you, when I say I will be the owner of this, I will be the president, I will be the queen, I will be the boss, I am not lying. You mark my words, because as long as you guys do not eat well, all your wealth is just going, you're going to end up dying, and your wealth is going to get what? Passed on to the person that can't handle that. Right? And if you're living to die, then what's the point? Why don't you just kill yourself already then? I don't want you to do that. I don't want to encourage you to kill yourself. That's why I'm here to tell you life is worth living, right? There is no sense of you dying slowly. It's going to be torture and suffering for you. It's better for you to fight for life by eating right. All right? Fight for life by eating right. Amen. God bless.
Or they're gonna start creating injections where they're giving you decisions. If you don't want to live life anymore, you can just go. That's how it's gonna start being, because if you guys are not creating solutions for people to get better, the one thing we don't want people is jumping off of buildings and making their life worse. You guys are not making it better. You're showing people that the rich are showing people that they're living a luxurious, expensive life, but they're not being generous with their wealth. They're not giving enough. If you're still a billionaire and you're collecting more money, your goal is to try to be a trillionaire. But what are you going to do with those trillions? Right? What are you going to do with those trillions exactly? What are your plans with that money? I do understand that sometimes you need to save money for failures, accidents, etc., etc. But that's still a lot of money that's coming in every year.